all my crafting friends, welcome to my channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're new to my channel, thank you for joining. Don't forget to jump over to shophandmadeproducts.com to visit my website. And today we are going to be creating this super cute teacher sign, perfect for Christmas gifts. It's super easy. I'm going to walk you through every step.
It is not as hard as it looks.
Supplies, and without further ado, let's get started. So, first thing we're going to do here is we're going to get out this Dollar Tree contact paper. It comes on a big roll. It's only $1.25, and it is so great for so many different uses. I love, love, love to add it to my work area before I get started on a project, especially if I'm going to be using acrylic paint. So here you see me covering my desk with this contact paper. Now, we're going to this wooden from the Dollar Tree, that I got from Walmart. It was 70% off in the Halloween section after Halloween. It's pretty heavy duty. It's pretty thick. We got it for a great deal, but you can always get a circle round from the Dollar Tree and use that instead. And first thing we're going to do is use this Dollar Tree sponge, and then I'm using this Apple Barrel paint in the color Pavement. And we are going to use that to cover the entire circle in that black color called Pavement. Now, I always keep baby wipes handy especially when I'm using acrylic paint. I just find it so easy to use them to wipe off any extra messes that get on my work area or on my hands that I don't want to transfer over to another part of my project. So we're going to cover this surface, and then we're going to also cover the sides in the same color. You can usually find these wood planks in the seasonal decor that have the little cutout at the top. And if you can't find one, then you can always look around in the Crafter Square section and see if they have a wooden blank there that you can use instead. So I'm just going to trace the edge right there where we need to cut in order to make our pencil. Now, I'm going to set the black ground aside so it can dry, and we're going to begin to work on a pencil. So I'm getting my cutting mat. I've had this for a very long time. I got it at Walmart. It's the best investment ever. So we're going to take our wood plank, and now that we've got our straight line, we are going to go in with our heavy duty utility blade. I got this utility blade at Home Depot. And it came with 2 extra blades. It was about $15, but it was totally worth it. It was so heavy duty and really gets the job done. So we're going to score that line several times with that utility blade. And then once you get through several times and put in a good amount of pressure, you should be able to just snap it and it'll break. And if not, and you give it a little tug and it doesn't want to budge, just score it a couple more times and then it'll eventually snap for you. Most likely it will leave a jagged edge, so all you really need to do is go back in with your utility blade and trim off any of the extra that did not come off when you snapped it. And it's not hard at all. You'll get a straight, clean edge. Just trim off any of the extra, pick it off, and then we're going to go in with a sanding block and clean up those edges. So it's okay if it's a little jagged once you're done with your cut. It's no big deal. And don't forget to save that extra wooden piece. You can use that for a later project. And the sanding block, I did get it from the Dollar Tree. It was only $1.25. It's super rough grit, so I don't recommend it on any like fine grit needed projects, but use it for this. Certainly it does a great job. I'm going to go in and sand that down until it's nice and smooth. Here is my favorite trick that I've learned ever, is get you one of these Dollar Tree rollers, lint rollers. They are perfect for cleaning up your work surface and getting up all those little pieces of glitter and little wood shavings. Love that thing. I use it all the time. Alright, so here I'm going to use just a regular piece of plain white paper, and I'm going to line it up and see where I need to cut to make it the same size as my wood plank. I'm just going to use my cutting board and cut that down to the size that I need it. What we're doing here is we're making a template to make sure that we can create a perfectly pointy pencil. So once I have my piece of paper cut down, I'm going to then just fold it in half to make sure I find the center. And then once I fold it in half, then I can use my pencil and my ruler to create a point. So I'm just going to use my pencil and my ruler, and I'm going to draw where those lines need to be. And then we're going to use our pencil and our ruler again to draw a line at the top, and use a piece of painter's tape to put over that line we just drew. Make sure to wrap it all the way around because we're going to be painting the sides later, and that will protect the sides. And this is what we were left with. Now we're going to cut off each side of the pointy part of the pencil that we don't need. We're going to cut out those X points with our heavy-duty utility knife. And then we're going to take our Dollar Tree sanding block and just sand that down really well, all the way around, making sure that we get all of those splinters. Now here we are in Cricut Design Space. Now some of you already know how to do this, but here I am wanting how I found my template. So we're going to type in pencil. And this is going to bring up a lot of different options. I'm going to find a pencil that I like. I like this one. And here's the pencil. Now I want to rotate it to face it the way that I like. So I'm hit 90 degrees and then I flip it horizontal. And then we need to resize this because our pencil is not the same size as the one that is uploaded. So just measure the wood that you have on your desk, whatever project you're working with, and measure it to make sure that you get the measurements right in Cricut Design Space. Now, in order to get the appropriate measurements to cut correctly, you're going to have to click that unlock tab up here at the top. Then you can type in how wide you need your pencil to be, depending on the piece of wood that you're working with, and then how high you need it to be. So here I am just typing in the measurements of my particular piece of wood. So that way it'll give me the correct measurements that I need for my project. And then I lost it. I had to zoom out and go find it, but that's okay. Found it, drag it to the top, and then I zoomed back in. Now we don't need the gray layer or the yellow layer. So we're going to go and we're going to delete those layers. I really just want the brown layer and the pink layer for my template. So we're going to click on the click on the gray layer and delete that one. Right click, delete. And go to the yellow layer and do the same thing, right click and delete. Now you'll see that you have 3 different colored layers here. If you go it on 3 different mats because there's 3 different colors. We don't want that. So we're going to go back in, hit cancel. We're going to go back in under beside layers. You're going to hit color sync. Drag that brown layer to the black, drag the pink layer to the black, and now you have all of the items being cut on one black mat. I don't like to waste space. I don't like to waste vinyl. So I'm just rearranging things here to make sure that we can get everything cut on a clean piece of vinyl without wasting any material. Click make it, and then we're going to choose the material that we're going to use today. I am using a vinyl that is not a Cricut brand, so I'm just going to hit premium vinyl and make it. Now, I did use this Crafter Square vinyl from the Dollar Tree. It is so awesome. I love it for projects like this and for stenciling or just to use as templates. It's really great, super inexpensive, so you're not wasting your expensive vinyl on something that you're just going to throw away. So now that I've got our eraser part sat down, I'm just outlining where I need to cut, and then I'm just going to toss that in the trash and use our heavy-duty utility knife to score those corners. Now, I did mess up on the bottom part. I redid that so we could get the curves just the way we need them to be. I added a layer of white chalk paint to the entire surface. Now I'm just cleaning up my surface area on my desk with a baby wipe. That acrylic paint comes off so easy off of that contact paper. These Dollar Tree sponges are so great for projects like this. They are 2 or 3 to a pack, I believe, and they come with these circle sponges that are just so awesome. I love them. I'm just using this sponge to dip it in my white chalk paint and gonna add it to this black base. While that white pencil is drying, we're gonna work on adding these circles to the surface of the black ground now that it is completely dry. And there's no rhyme or reason for this, no right way, wrong way. I'm just going through and adding dots wherever I think they need to go. Um, just use your imagination, put them wherever you want. Doesn't matter really where they go. Now I do see the top here is right there where I put that blue painter's tape. And I put that there for reference to know where the hanger is on the back, just for my reference. You don't have to do that, but I just wanted to have that there so I knew exactly where the top is. We're going to continue to do this all the way around until we get the entire surface covered in white dots. Here it is finished. And now it's time to work on our pencil while that dries. So our white paint's dry. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to start with our yellow acrylic paint. It's apple barrel paint. And we're going to use another Dollar Tree sponge to add that to our surface. I like to start where the stencil is and then work my way towards the middle, just so that way I don't get any of that yellow under the stencil vinyl that's under there, to make sure that I get good crisp lines when I'm finished. And then I'm just barely, lightly brushing that sponge across the surface. I don't want full coverage here. I'm going for a very distressed look. Yeah, so I just cover it in yellow very lightly. Make sure you get the sides. All right. And then I realized, oh no, I forgot to put down my painter's tape to make that line where I want the gray to go. So I need to add that add that tape to the line, and you can actually see the line underneath where we drew it earlier through the white. So I'm just going to add that blue painter's tape on top of that line that I can see poking through, and make sure I wrap it around just like I did before, because we will be painting the sides, and that'll protect the area that I want to be gray. Just press those edges on really well, and I've finished painting that middle yellow part. Start from the tape and work our way towards the center. That looks good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to use one of the tricks that I love is we're going to grab a baby wipe. And we see some very harsh spots here. I didn't really like that, so I'm going to go in with baby wipe. And we're going to smudge that around, not pressing too hard, very gently, lightly spreading the paint around while it's still wet. A little dry, but also a little wet. And this is going to give it just a very smooth, distressed but cohesive look. So moving on, we're going to use this pink paint from Apple Barrel. It's the best gorgeous color for this eraser, in my opinion. And we're going to do the same thing as we did with the middle part. We don't want it super thick. We don't want full coverage. We're just going to very lightly cover that pink part. So I'll cover both sides, make sure to wrap it around the edges really well, and press down really well so that way the gray doesn't leak into the pink or the yellow color. Now, I'm going to use a baby wipe once I've finished painting that gray, and I'm just going to wipe it while it's still wet, just like I did with the yellow, just like I did with the pink. I'm just going to wipe it really good, not looking for anything perfect here. And then I go in with a paintbrush, and I start to add in some black and some white, some darker gray. I'm just really trying to distress it and get it to mimic that distressed feel like we got with the yellow and when we painted the pink. I don't want a solid color. I want it to have a variation of colors. And that's good to me. So we're going to peel that painter's tape off while it's still wet. I find that peeling it off while it's still wet works really, really well to get a very crisp line. So that's what you see me doing here. I'm just going to take that painter's tape off and let it dry. And I want to go ahead and cut out the sign, or sorry, the name for the pencil sign. So I'm using some vinyl here to cut it on my Cricut. It's going to say Mrs. King, and I'm going to add that to my sign later. But in the meantime, I want to show you this Dollar Tree cutting board. It's so cute. It's little, but it does a great job for many, many projects, very small projects. If you have something to cut, you don't want to pull out your big mat for it. It is so great. It's thick, it's durable. But I like to use my contact paper once again and cover the back with contact paper. Cover the back of this cutting board with contact paper, cut it down to size, stick it on, and we can use that later to add some acrylic paint too. And then when we're done with the paint, all we have to do is peel that contact paper off and throw it in the garbage. No wasted paper plate, no having to wash off, your painter tray. I love it. I'm going to use a piece of tape. I taped it to the back of my circle board. I'm trying to find the middle of my board here and middle of the top where it's going to hang so I can make sure I get my pencil straight on the board. So when it's hanging, the pencil will be straight. Looks good to me. I just position it where it needs to go. Once it's good to go, I lay it down. Excuse me. I lay it down. I mark it with a pencil. So when I lift it off of that circle, I know exactly where to set it back down. Spread that hot glue all around. Actually, I'm using Gorilla Hot Glue. Spread it all around. Press it down really, really well. Make sure everything's stuck down really, really good. Now, in the process, I did get some smudges of black onto the pink. No big deal. Can fix that later. And here I'm going to use my chalk marker to go in and go over the white paint that I had painted on previously with my fine point paintbrush, just to give it a little more precision. And I wanted to add something to the white dots. I was trying to figure out here what I needed to add. I wasn't really sure, but that chalk marker wasn't showing up anyway, so I scratched that idea. And then this is where we are. I think it's super cute, and I think we're getting to a good place. Now, all we need to do is add a bow to the top. So I have all of these different ribbons that I thought would match. I'm just going to go through here and figure out which ones I want to use, which ones I don't think look as good, and create a bow with the ones I like best for the top of the sign. I found all the ribbons that I liked. And I start with the widest ribbon on the bottom and then the skinniest ribbon as the top layer. So here I want to show you how to dovetail. I'm not going to show you the full ribbon making process, but I do want to show you this part. So basically what you do is you fold the ribbon in half, as you see me doing here. Just find the length that you want it to be, then you're going to fold it in half. And then you're going to use your scissors and you're going to snip off the end at a diagonal. That is the key, not straight cut, but a diagonal cut. And then you can use your lighter to light the ends back and forth very quickly. You want to do that very quickly, just to seal the ends of that ribbon so it will not fray. Now the next one I'm going to do is a burlap ribbon. So I'm going to fold it in half, and here you can see it really well. Diagonally hold your scissors and cut. I do not use the flame on this one because it is a burlap and it doesn't really need it. If you want to use it, you can, but I didn't find it necessary. So here you can see it really well. Fold it in half, cut it at a diagonal. We're just going to repeat that step for the rest of the pieces of the tails on the ribbon. Now we'll be using excuse me, I've been fighting a cold. I will be using the rest of the or use the lighter for the rest of the ribbon tails because they are a satin ribbon and I don't want them to fray. So again, cut them at a diagonal, use that lighter to seal off the ends. Now, once we have the tails done, they are looking super cute. This is coming along really well. Now we are just going to fluff out our bow, fluff and fluff and fluff. I like to start with the back layer, like you see me doing here with the black ribbon, and fluff it out. And then I go to the middle layer and then the top layer, so on and so forth. And then the next step is all you got to do is attach that ribbon, that bow we made to the top, and there you have it. We have a sign as a teacher gift, and I think she's gonna love it. I really do. But then we were not done. No, we're not done. Yes, you thought we were done. No, we're not. So I decided that those white dots were just so plain. They didn't match the whimsicalness. Is whimsicalness a word? No, it's not, but it is today. Of the pencil. So I want to go in with some gray paint and some white chalk paint and mix those together to make a very, very light gray. And I want to go in and add that to the circles so that way I can give it a nice little swirl inside of those white circles. We're just going to continue to give all of these white circles a swirl until all of the white circles are done and we have the look that we're going for. I don't know about you, but I think it turned out super cute. It's an easy way to create a gift for your child's teacher, and it's just like the perfect Christmas gift. So if you like this, please subscribe to my channel. If you learned something new, please subscribe, and you'll be notified for my next video. And maybe you'll learn something new in the next one. I hope you learned something new here that you didn't know before, and maybe you'll learn something new in the next video. But in the meantime, hop on over to shophandmadeproducts.com. If you don't want to create this on your own, you can always order it there for your teacher. And thank you so much, and God bless, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, friends. Bye-bye.